July 9th, 2011. It was Courtney Love's birthday. President Obama met with a few of his cabinet members. Derek Jeter led the Yankees to victory against the Tampa Bay Rays. Oh yeah, did I mention a new country was born? On July 9th, 2011, the Republic of South Sudan was created after it separated from the northern region of Sudan. Now, this is a topic that's very dear to my heart because I am from Sudan. I've had to see my country split in two. A lot of animosity caused by decades and decades of war. A civil war that ironically transpired to not have a trace of civility in it. A civil war that sank its venomous teeth into the very foundation of my family and of my well-being. So I come to ask myself, how in 2011 can a new country be born? I mean, wasn't that the job of some imperialists a long time ago? Well, in order to understand this question, we have to backtrack a little and understand the sources of the conflict. Before Sudan separated, it was the largest nation in Africa. The north is characterized with a majority of Muslims. They're very heavily tied to areas in the Middle East, and that's where the government is. That's where the capital of Khartoum is. The southern region is very different. It has a lot of tribes who speak different dialects. They are of religions of animist and Christianity. But there are a lot of oil reserves in the southern region, although it's not as industrially developed. So initially, there was a very strong cultural clash between these two groups of people. Now, to exacerbate the already tensions found in this region are the economic interests. So the northern region is where the government is. It's the industries, the refineries, all the manufacturers, but the south is where the real natural resource of oil is found, a commodity that is in very high demand today and which attracted a lot of foreign investments to Sudan, but which was also a very key part of their disagreements. Because as this commodity became such high in markets, the northern government of Sudan started to exploit the southerners for their natural resources, giving them unfair wages, a lot of abuse and neglect. When you have a war with such horrific casualties, hundreds of thousands of child soldiers and good civilians dying in the fields, when the hands of men drip with the blood of their neighbors, you come to ask yourself, what is the purpose of this violence? To what ends? Could South Sudan have gained independence without the bloodshed? Here's the tough pill to swallow. Violence was a necessary evil, almost inevitable evil, for the establishment of the separation and for the establishment of these peace negotiations. Why? I mean, you probably came here today thinking I was going to talk to you about how different and unique Sudan is. But honestly, I'm here to tell you how Sudan is the same, how it speaks volumes to our society, and how there's a little bit of Sudan in all of you. We've seen this pattern repeated throughout history. We've already seen this movie. It's literally a tale as old as time from early history imperialists, the vicious pattern of divide, conquer, and exploit. So if we know this pattern, if this sick pattern is a cyclical overloop that keeps continuing in history, the question then becomes, why hasn't anyone tried to stop it? What's standing in our way? Why do we feel the need to exploit? Now, I'm not here to guarantee you any answers to one of the world's most difficult questions, but I'm here to give you a little bit of my insight as a 21st century Sudanese American. And the way I see it is our ambition and our greed are two sides of the same coin. When we recognize this violence and we recognize that we need to break this pattern, we need a call to action. We can communicate and we can educate, which are very key pillars, but we need action. We need to do it. We need to be able to go out there and make a difference. We need to revolutionize the system if we feel that it fails us, if we feel that it neglects us, or it's distrusting, or it causes injustices, as in many minorities, such as the people of South Sudan. We need to adopt a sort of minority belief system, Because as much as we try to dehumanize our opponent, they're not going anywhere. And guess what? Sometimes our enemy is the one that has the solution to our very problems. And that's something we seriously need to consider. So when you think about these universal themes, we need to think about the themes of compromise, ideas of recognizing when to admit defeat, ideas of being able to know when to introduce a non-biased third party to the equation in order to be able to collaborate in a way that betters both parties. A great man once told me that we need to think in terms of a borderless world. And I gave a lot of thought to that, a borderless world. But I think that's something we need to aim for in the future. I think right now, maybe our borders are the only things that are keeping us sane. Maybe the fact that South Sudan got its own country, its own borders, helped to stabilize its identity, helped to start the conversation for those peace negotiations. These are values that not only affect me, but they affect you too. I'll be going to college next year, hopefully. And I'll be introduced to a multitude of different people. And on a day-to-day basis, we all meet a diverse population of people. And we need to recognize the importance of compromise, the importance of human creativity in solving solutions. If it's who gets the last piece of dessert after dinner, or if it's trying to negotiate between two countries. What one of my favorite poets once said, Robert Frost, is that good fences make good neighbors. So maybe we need that sense of protection for a little while to help us move along. So we don't have to resort to violence. So in a world where violence isn't the only way to grab the world's attention, in a world where the North and the South of any country, of anywhere, could have collaborated without extreme casualties and bloodshed. So if I leave you with one thought today, it's to emphasize human creativity and innovation. Because our greatest resources isn't the oil or the coal or all the rubber in the world. It's right up here. It's our human creativity and our innovation to solving today's problems for better solutions tomorrow.